Yeah. So from then on, my tears of fear turned into like tears of joy and hope. I cried a lot.
This episode is brought to you by Portfolio Box, an online portfolio made by creatives for creatives. Hey guys, it's Hardwood Rod here, and it's a new season. It's time to showcase your new work, and there's no better time than now than to use Portfolio Box. Use my promo code ROD, ROQ50, and get 50% off for 12 months. That's ROD, ROQ50. And check out portfoliobox.net today. Hey guys, welcome to this health and fitness series on the Hardwood Rod podcast. And we're kicking things off with Evelyn Valdez out of Arizona. And we're going to be talking specifically on strength training and some of the 5 myths regarding women and heavy lifting. Plus her back injury, how her comeback was greater than the setback. That and much more. Stay locked in. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hardwood Rod podcast. As this week and for the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking health and fitness. And, we're going to kick off this week with Evelyn Valdez out of Arizona. Welcome to the podcast, Evelyn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Today, as we're gearing this health and fitness series, we're going to, dive into, fitness in general, but, women in fitness. And I've seen some of your work, and I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit and the audience as well. And how did this all come about, right? You have a master's in architecture, you're an architect in training, but on the side, you're also an amateur weightlifter, right? Competing in these competitions, right? How do you balance both of those?
It didn't start off too good. I gained the freshman 15 in college, and then the sophomore 20, and then the junior 25, and then by my last year in undergrad, I was like 30, probably like 30-ish pounds overweight. I've always been a kind of healthy big girl in high school and middle school, so I didn't need those extra 30 pounds.
Yeah.
But architecture is grueling. It's difficult. You stay up all night. You literally live off of caffeine and fear. So by the time I started grad school, I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and thought, like, there's got to be a better way. I was in a relationship with a guy at that time that was really into like fitness and coaching and training, but he also delivered pizzas for a living. So it was kind of like, all right, let's go to the gym, but then we're going to eat this pizza later.
Yeah.
And so it was a little rocky of a start, but eventually he like started doing CrossFit, and I started going to the classes with him. It wasn't something that I felt super comfortable with. I didn't really like going to the gym. I always felt kind of out of place and like I shouldn't really be here. I should be like hiding in a stairwell, like running my like steps and like trying to hide the fact that I'm working out. And like one day I just fell in love with CrossFit, the community, the people that like cheer you on, and just having someone and people there that had my back and wanted to see me grow. And that's when it all just kind of clicked. In like 2014, I was starting out in CrossFit. I was starting going to the gym like once a week, then it was twice a week. Then I was like, dang, I have friends here. I'm gonna start coming 3 times a week, then 4 times a week. And then next thing I know, I'm like full blown 6 weeks a day training, just because I was seeing progression and seeing my friends, and that relationship didn't really last that long, but it introduced me into a place that I felt at home, welcome, and something that challenged me in a good way that didn't scare me away and make me feel like I wasn't enough to be there. And so that's where it all kind of started. I didn't have sports growing up. I didn't have, like, I wasn't very athletic or fast. I was really into studying and going to the library and
Yeah.
getting into books. So my fitness journey started pretty late in life. I was a 23, 24 by the time I decided to do something with my body other than, with my brain. So,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's too late. I mean, I guess when you look back and you just if as far as making it, is going into competitions, but for many, I mean, people haven't even got started, right? And they're in their 30s, 40s, right? And being that you're 30, right? Now,
yep.
what, 6 years in, 7 years in,
Hmm.
from that time, from working out and eating pizza, you've gained so much knowledge from that time that you see the people in the gyms, right? The fitness industry in general, how they kind of, I mean, you go back and you call it what, surrounding yourself with miracles, right? That's what you mentioned, that you
Yeah,
have.
with community. Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of, it gives you, it uplifts you, you get that kind of positive self-esteem. And I'm with you, it's, that's kind of where you feel that you fit in, right? And at the end of the day, and I just come to realize, just also, is that nothing else matters but health. Like, you feel good about yourself, and you just know that you're treating your body right.
Hmm.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. I think not saying that working out is like the solution to everything, but we're social creatures, right?
Yeah.
We're humans. We want to be surrounded by others, like even if it's just for a few moments, like we crave that social interaction, and being a part of a community is something that we've kind of progressed to need and want as we've evolved, right? And like you might feel like inside that you're not enough, or it's going to be difficult to meet these new people. But what I've found in like the different things that I've done throughout the years, because I've been a CrossFitter, I started Olympic weightlifting, I've been training at a strongman gym lately, is that every community is welcoming, because a good community only wants to get to know new people, help them grow, and get that community stronger. And so it doesn't matter if you're starting, at the age of 4 with soccer or any other, the kids' sports that you kind of start like trending into high school sports and transitioning that way, or if you're 25 in grad school, like, dang, I need to get a hold of myself and do something, or, you know, 40, 50, you have kids, you have grandkids, you want to start being active, chase them around, be able to, have fun with them. Like, fitness and training doesn't have an age limit. And I think a lot of us kind of impose that age limit on ourselves, thinking like, man, I wasn't really athletic at all. Like, I've never been good at training or working out consistently. Like, that's not something that should stop you. It's just now starting. Your life is so long and you have so much to give to it. And it's training and working out only lets you live longer and enjoy more of it. So I'm like a very big proponent of, like, it doesn't matter what you want to do or what kind of training you want to do or what gets you excited. As long as you get excited and you want to move and move well, like, I'm for it. I'm here for it. Like, I'm not against any kind of training. Like, there's like a powerlifting versus weightlifting, or, bodybuilding versus weightlifting, or CrossFit versus some other modality of fitness. And
Hmm.
honestly, we're all just trying to get healthy, move, live longer, and lead like happy lives. So that's the thing that we should think about and having in the back of our heads whenever we're, talking to other people that want to be in fitness. So,
Yeah, 100%. And I kind of got into it, ironically, just shooting a documentary, and I followed Max. He's in his 40s, but he's still his background, the story was him still like having in his mindset where it's not too late, right? It's never too late to get into something, right? In this case, it was hybrid training, right? Where it's you
Mhm.
mix calisthenics, CrossFit, boxing, etc. And that got me into it, right? That opened my eyes a little bit, and then now I kind of want to incorporate all that stuff into what I'm doing. So it's a lot of things that you could do, and it's not one thing's not right, one thing's not better than the other. But talking reverting back, right, into to the beginning, right, as far as you graduated, you got your MBA in architecture, and you're now going in these competitions, right?
Mhm.
What would you say you have more passion, right? I know they're two completely separate things, and I'm just curious where your mindset is right now as far as those two, right? Where's your main focus?
Yeah, so the great thing about weightlifting and CrossFit is that it needs discipline, it needs organization, it needs thoughtfulness. The same thing is applied to being an architect. So I work at a firm here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we need to be organized. We need to be effective. We need to be thoughtful when creating these like amazing homes for people. And it doesn't really seem that different to me because it uses some of the same kind of like brain power. I have to organize everything. I have to be effective with my time. I have to be thoughtful about the things that I do in training and at work.
Hmm.
Like for me, it's not that much of a stretch. Like architecture is a passion. Like I love being able to grab a design and make it happen. Like I'm not the designing process person. I don't like make it look beautiful and present it to the client. I'm the person in the back that's like, this is what you want to do. Okay, these are the steps. This is how we have to organize the structure. This is how we have to cool it down. This is what we have, like, this is all the stuff that we need to do to get documents out
Mm.
and for someone to be able to build it. And that I think translates well to weightlifting also because you have to be organized with your training, whether you're peaking, you're not peaking. You have to decide and be like, okay, what's my weakness right now? What's something I can improve on? For me, it's always squats.
Hmm.
And let me base my training around this. And then you also have someone in your court all the time. So I have a coach. His name is Dan Jones, and he literally takes care of all of my programming, all of my nutrition. He pretty much tells me what I need to weigh, what I need to eat, how much I should sleep, when I need to recover. So it takes a lot of that load off of me when it comes to like having to train for weightlifting.
Yeah.
And lets me kind of still have my full-time job as a architectural associate because I don't if I had to do both training, programming, and work 40 plus hours a week, I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
Uh,
But
yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's working itself, but you have that where you have your coach slash trainer where you pretty much he's doing the other little tedious stuff, right? You just show up and you put in work, right? So
yeah, it's like heads down, grind. He pretty much he'll see me do something and he'll be like, I need you to do that 45 pounds heavier, or you need to grab the 70-pound kettlebell. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm going to die if I do that. But out loud, I'm like, yes, sir, let's do it. Because if he believes in me, then I know that I can do it. And I think that's a big, big support system that I'll never be able to replace. Because if it were up to me, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, 35 pounds sounds pretty heavy.
yeah,
And he's over here like, grab the 70-pound.
yeah, that's where I feel like you know just by yourself, right? Sometimes we get on our own head, right? And we need that other kind of person to be there to like, nope, nope, you're gonna, to push you, right? Obviously. And talk to us about, as we're talking about, your coach and your trainer, just speak about like a situation where it's like, man, like if I didn't have him on my side, I don't think I could have done this.
Yeah, for sure. So June of 20, I think 18 or 2019. I think it was 2019. I had a bulging disc that I ignored. At the time, I didn't have a coach,
Mm.
and I had competed pretty much once a month until that day, until June 1st. So January competed, February, March, April, May, and then June 1st, 2019, my bulging disc turned into a herniated disc.
Oh.
Um, in competition, I was doing a warm up lift and my back just gave out. I hit the lift, and when the bar dropped, I dropped. I fell to the floor, and my training partner or my competition partner had to like scoop me off the floor and take me outside away from the spectators and everything to evaluate what happened. And my the last disc in my spine herniated, which means it came completely out from
Oh.
its nice little location. So after that, I had been like at the peak. I was like, dang, I'm getting somewhere. I'm finally good enough where I can become more than just amateur. I can start like training harder, get on a team, like start competing internationally. Like this is where my head was thinking because I had like finally hit a stride. I was finally getting to that point that I thought I could start pushing to
Before
make it
be,
somewhere
before or after the rehab?
before the
Okay.
rehab.
Okay,
That's why I
gotcha.
was competing so often because I was like
Yeah.
pushing myself. And that day, everything kind of fell apart. Um, my partner now, he had to help me walk. He had to help me get out of bed because I couldn't bend up to stand up without it spasming. So for 3 weeks, I was pretty much um, living assisted. Like I couldn't go to the bathroom without someone helping me lower myself onto the toilet. Like
Yeah.
that feeling is something that I never want to feel because I thought about like, oh my gosh, when I'm in my 60s or 70s and 80s, what if this is me again? And so I reached out to Dan. He is a coach at OPEX Fitness, and I had one of my friends was a coach of his, and I've seen the way that he worked with other people, and I had been part of OPEX for over 2 years at that point, before I kind of like took a break because I thought like, I'm good. I can make it on my own.
Hmm.
And he just kind of came into my life and helped me go from needing help to get down to the floor to 1 year later qualifying for weightlifting nationals. Um, like it was, I think I cried for the first week just from fear of
Yeah.
doing anything. Like every time I'd go into the gym, I'd have tears in my eyes because I was afraid to bend over. I was
Oh
afraid to
yeah.
pick up a kettlebell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it it was almost deafening how afraid I was of doing these things that I used to just do. And so he put together a program, and he like communicated with me like the things that he wanted from me. The entire staff at OPEX was, just watching me. They understood where I was coming from. They knew that I had been like, amateur competitive, and was trying to get back to just being a normal human at this point where I could like pick up a bag of groceries without throwing my back out.
Yeah.
And I think it was somewhere in 2020, he he gave me something. What was it? He gave me muscle ups. I don't know if you know what those are.
What
It's
is
on a
that?
ring. Yeah, so they're rings that are hanging from either the ceiling or a rig,
Hmm.
and you jump up and you swing and you get to the top of the rings like in a ring dip, and you
Gotcha.
press out. So this is one of the harder gymnastics movements in CrossFit. it's probably super easy for a gymnastics person because it's one of the basic movements to get on top of the rings. But for me, it had always been something that I struggled with, even whenever I was competitive. And he was like, hey, just try it out, see what happens. And I hit 3 muscle ups in a row. And at that point, my max ever, even whenever I was like at my best, was 5. And I was like, I'm coming back. This is like, it's happening. I'm coming back. It's possible. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have to settle.
give you the confidence, right, that you needed to keep on going.
Yeah. So from then on, my tears of fear turned into like tears of joy and hope. I cried a lot. I cried constantly through 2019 and 2020. I don't know why he like stuck around, but he
Well, I mean, he believed in in you, and as far as like from you know when you were broken down, pretty much, literally, almost pretty much, right, and to build you
mhm.
back up, right. I mean
Yeah,
that takes as far as patience, a lot of I'm pretty sure a lot of like moments where it's like, can I even continue doing this? What's my future looking like? And
definitely.
he definitely kudos to him, right? He believed in you, 100%, 110%.
Yeah. So like for sure, without him, I probably wouldn't be competing at my second nationals this year, because I'm going back to nationals in July, which is exciting.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, and so after a year of rehab, I came back with and hit the same numbers that I hit before being injured, except on the same day. I had only hit them on separate days, like prior, and it kind of just made it happen. Like, I can do this. I can come back. Like, I don't have to sit there and be scared of like my spine coming out of place every single time that I do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still scared to back squat, but like it's something that there's a quote from a book. It's called Dune. It's like a sci-fi book. It's super nerdy. It's fine.
Yeah, I think there's a film coming out,
Yeah.
or it
Oh,
came out.
I'm so excited about it. But they say fear is the mind killer. And I don't know what about it, but the entire quote is, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
Wow, strong. Yeah, I need to see the movie now, and
Oh my gosh.
read the book.
Read the book. Yeah. And so after that day, that quote just kind of stuck with me. Like, I can be afraid, I can be scared, but I'm going to let that happen. I'm going to let it flush out of my system, and then I'm going to go, because there's nothing that can hold me back.
Oh yeah, and
So,
I'm with you. Yeah, like that's like as far as fear, right? As far as because what 7 years ago, like my lung collapsed because of like with the complications of pneumonia, and
ooh,
since then I'm still kind of like thinking like, especially with with the whole COVID situation, right? It's like,
mhm.
well, damn, I don't want to get that, right? Because what if something happens or it comes back, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's always in
It's the
the
what if.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always in the back. It's always in like fear, whatever that little thing is. It never goes away, but it's always in the back of your mind somewhere. You just gotta pretty much. It's like a battle, right? You just gotta win the.
Yeah.
It's a battle to the end. So
We're
uh,
all afraid. Like, if
yeah,
someone tells you they're not afraid, they're lying.
yeah, definitely.
Everyone's afraid of something. You're afraid of failure. You're afraid of letting yourself down, someone else down. Fear is healthy as long as you confront it and you acknowledge it and you realize it doesn't have any power over you. Because what are you going to do? Just sit, do nothing? Like, then you're no longer living your life. And that's just not fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, yeah, so that was the big I would never be here without it would be without Dan, and also my boyfriend Steven, who literally would have to like check in on me, make sure he carried the groceries for like 6 months so I wouldn't throw out my back. He moved us from our apartment into our house by himself because my back was useless at the point.
Oh man.
And so, like, he literally carried me on his back. Like, so, yeah, those are the two people with whom without I probably wouldn't be where I am right now.
Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to them because obviously, they pretty much are pedestals in your life from now, moving forward, right? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's like the foundation, right, of everything that we need in our life in order to continue and chase those dreams.
Yeah, you always need people you can rely on, whether that's your family, if you have like sports specific goals, your coach, your teammates, if it's life goals, like a life partner, a best friend, it's why humans seek social interaction is because we need those people that can believe in us when we don't.
Yeah, 100%. Drop, breathe, hustle. Hey, it's Hardwood Rod here, and Hustle Drops is a new product that utilizes a number of natural vasodilators to relax and expand your airways. Expanded airways equals more oxygen in and more CO2 out. More available oxygen leads to a variety of performance benefits, including faster processing, stronger muscles, and increased endurance. Check them out at hustledrops.com and use my promo code ROD10 for 10% off your first order. Now, with talking with the whole fear, now when you're on stage, right, in the competition, how do you get into that mindset? What's your routine, right? Because when you walk into the gym and you're doing your routines, it's completely different, I imagine, right? Where you're literally, have your headphones on, you got the music bumping, but then you go into the stage, no music, all eyes are on you. How do you deal with that? What's your kind of routine before you get on stage versus, the gym?
Yeah. So usually I tell Dan I'm nervous, and then he goes, "That's good." He goes, "Use those butterflies. Those are like strength butterflies," or whatever he says. And I'm like, yeah. So I acknowledge the fear. I acknowledge my nerves, and then I put in the headphones. Sometimes it's heavy metal. Sometimes it's Miley Cyrus. It just depends on the mood. Sometimes it's Disney songs, and it lets me like hear something familiar every single time, like that I can like warm up to. And as soon as I like step out, they say next on deck, Evelyn Valdez. And then it's all right, Evelyn Valdez. And you come out, all I think about is it's just me in the bar. You've done this 100 times. People are watching. Give them a show. So it's probably a little egotistical because like the more people are there, like the more pumped up I get. The more I'm like, yes, watch me lift this. Like this
Yeah.
is it. Like it's a good and bad because I've had some good lifts and good like stage appearances, and I've had some pretty bad meets. So, but every time I go in with like full confidence that I'm going to perform my best and I'm going to give everything I have. And that's because that's what we're leading up to. Like anything less than that, then I'm shorting myself from all the hard work that I put in through the season.
Oh yeah, you know what? Good for you. You know that you have that kind of mentality, right? Because a lot of people, I mean, just even just a few people, right? You see, kind of they're watching you, and you just kind of like break down. But I mean, you actually embrace the situation, you know?
It's like I think I'm in a high pressure situation all the time, and so I just kind of thrive off of it. I like joke with my coworkers that I'm like always stressed out. Like I live off of stress. Like
Yeah.
I'm like always on the edge because it like keeps me like alert. But
Yeah, you use it as fuel, right? So that's pretty much you're accustomed to that. So if you don't have that, it's that boost, right? And if you don't
yeah,
have it, it's just like that adrenaline, right? So you're
yeah,
accustomed to that.
definitely. And I'm okay with it. And I'm also okay with taking a vacation and not thinking about anything,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is, it's
Vacations are always good too, guys. So
I know you got to balance it somehow. You
yeah.
can't always be stressed out.
Oh yeah, for sure. So as we're wrapping up here, there's a lot of women out there probably listening too, and they're probably, thinking as far as, oh, like, lifting heavy and, all this, the stigma that goes around it. So I'm going to kind of go down through like 5 myths, and you just kind of give me like a quick answer as far as your thoughts on it.
Sure.
All right. So the first myth is women shouldn't lift heavy weights because it's dangerous.
False. Not lifting weights is dangerous. When you get older, when you have, let's say, not everyone's trying to get pregnant and have kids, but your pelvic floor needs to be strong. Like, you want to bounce back from that? Your pelvic floor needs to be strong.
It's funny you say that because my wife, every time when I'm lifting, she always mentions that.
Yeah, so it's a thing. Like, so I followed some people through their fitness journey as they're pregnant, and they talk about how easy childbirth was in comparison to like what they thought it would be. And it's because you develop this strength in your pelvic floor that you can push a freaking baby out. So, like you're over here cleaning and jerking like 300 pounds, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm gonna get pregnant and push out this 8-pound kid. Like, it seems not easier, but it seems like a little bit more like I'm prepared for this.
Mhm.
Like, I've trained, like I have this strong pelvic floor, I'm ready. But also as you age, like when you're 40, you're 50, like I remember seeing my grandma having difficulty standing up and moving around whenever she was alive, and like retaining some muscle mass goes a long way in helping you stay active and independent as you get older. So lift those weights, like do them safely, get a coach, get a friend that knows how to lift, like talk to people, reach out to like, you know, others that have experience coaching, and get started, because it only makes your life better. It only makes you stronger, and it only lets you do more of the things that you want to do.
Boom, there it is. And then with that, myth two, women who lift weights will get bulky.
Okay, so if you start lifting a weight like, oh, I'm gonna pick up this 45-pound dumbbell, and then you get massive, please call me. Like, I need to research your genetics and also maybe ask you to carry my children, because you are not going to get bulky right away. It takes so much hard work. Like, it takes years. I like finally have muscle tone, and like muscles that show. And it took me probably 5-6 years to feel like I'm muscular, because like before it was just kind of like hidden behind some hot Cheetos and all that good stuff. So like, you won't get bulky unless you're training to be a like super lean bodybuilder or a strong woman or power lifter. You're not going to get bulky, and if you do right away, please go to science. We need your genetics, like, for sure.
Yeah, I think I've even read where I think you might even like you'll get smaller even, as
Yeah,
far
well,
as
you don't get smaller. So if have you seen that picture of like 5 pounds of muscle versus 5 pounds of fat?
probably not. I don't even know.
Okay, so 5 pounds of muscle looks like, let's just say it looks like a chicken strip, like a raw chicken strip, right? It's pretty lean. It has a shape. It looks like a muscular shape. 5 pounds of fat, however, looks um, kind of a like two large apples worth of size. So when you have 5 pounds of fat on you, you're gonna look heavier than if you have 5 pounds of fat, because I mean 5 pounds of muscle, because the more muscle you
Yeah.
have, the leaner you look, the smaller you look. Like, just recently someone told me I was looking small. I know they meant it as a compliment, like you're looking skinny, but it's like I've actually gained weight. I've been eating more. I've
Yeah,
been
right.
training more. I've been trying to get bigger. And so I was like, thank you, I think. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. Once you get into like the like you're trying to gain muscle part of the lifting. But yeah, muscle is gonna look leaner. It's gonna give you shapes, like the shapelier kind of curves that everyone wants. That's what you want. You want to gain more muscle and reduce the fat, because it's not going to make you bulky. It's going to just make you look more shapely. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess I mean I don't know if we answered number three, but myth three is women can't lose weight through lifting. So
Oh my gosh. No, that is a lie. Because the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. Because you need to burn those calories
yeah,
to stay at the same, what's it called? Weight. So if there's a girl that weighs 140 pounds and is all muscle, she's going to burn way more calories than a girl that's 140 pounds with like 50% body fat. It's science. That's just the way it works.
yeah.
Um, so no, like you can definitely lose weight with strength training. Um, it it helps you lose weight. It helps you look good, and you burn more calories throughout the day by having more muscle on you.
And then we got myth four, you should use lightweight and lots of reps to tone certain muscles.
Um, Toning is for printers. It's not something you I don't know where that came from. It's kind of weird, but if you want to look lean and toned, whatever they want to call it, it doesn't have anything to do with like only doing lightweight. You can go heavy. You can do lightweight. You can do a lot of different activities. It's just it depends on what your goals are. Um, I feel like lightweight, high volume is a specific type of training for some people that need it, but
Yeah, it's
honestly,
just it's just a
lifting
it's just a
maxes,
it's the word tone, right? That could be
yeah,
misleading. So it's just like what do you define tone as, right? So
exactly. It's not really a what is it? Tone is like it doesn't mean anything. Like if you say like, hey, I want to be stronger, great. Here's a program for you. I want to look leaner, great. Get some muscle, you know. Also, let's look at your nutrition, what's happening with your food. Let's see what we can do to change things. Because most of the time when people say they want to look lean or um, tone is because sometimes they're lacking some of that nutritional guidance. And I do think that a lot of the things that we can change our bodies with starts in the kitchen as much as it does in the gym. And some people are great endurance athletes that don't need to like go super heavy and become a power lifter. But there is strength training involved in almost all things that you want to be successful in, like that involves sports.
right, right. And with that, as far as strength training, so myth five, it's scary or intimidating to learn weightlifting.
I would disagree. There's so USA Weightlifting, there's USAPL, so USA Powerlifting, there's Strongman Corporation. These are all communities that I've been a part of or seen, and they're all super welcoming. They just want to help people get strong or be better or achieve their goals, whatever it might be. Um, like every city has a local club in anything. I think the scariest part of strength training is asking for help. And
Yeah,
if you just like
I
take
think
a step into
yeah,
something
you
and
you
just ask,
you hit it right there. I feel like I think a lot of people get I don't know if it's like they're scared or shy or like a lot of I get a lot of people that like I ask, well, how come you don't go to the gym, right? That's just like an example, and it's like, well, I don't. How people are gonna look at me funny like I'm doing it wrong, right? So I think that's like a lot of the issue where a lot of people have it like as far as they're scared or shy.
yeah. And right now we live in an age where information is so readily available. You can go pretty much find a fitness expert online, right? Like
Hmm.
I follow these guys called the Mind Pump podcast, and they're like a bunch of trainers that just sit around and talk about training. And they have a bunch of really good programs that I've kind of like stalked and looked at just because, not everyone wants to have a one on one coach. Not everyone can afford to pay like a person to train them individually.
Hmm.
And those guys have pretty good programs online that are like easy to just kind of click and buy, with like all these libraries of like training exercises. Um, you go into a like, for example, the gym that I train at, Liberty Performance Training. Um, my boyfriend's one of the strongman guys there. They have like 4 coaches that are way more than happy to help anyone that walks in. Like occasionally, because I'm not sports specific, or I am sports specific, and I don't have that like athletic background of like, hey, do these A/B shuffles. I'm like, excuse me, what's an A/B shuffle? Like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to do that? Like, all I know is lift bar, put down. Like, what?
Hmm. Yeah.
And they'll help me. They'll like sit down and break down the mechanics and help me. And so just ask, whether it's online with someone you're comfortable asking and they like show you a resource, or whether you go directly to that source and ask a question, or you go to a fitness club or a gym and ask. People are more than willing to help, because a lot of the people in the fitness space, the reason they're there is because they love to help people.
The community, the fitness community is just very like family oriented, I feel like. And it's like it's very we live like in the age, right, where it's like we're always looking for that how to video, or those helpful tips, right? We're always looking how can we, those little food recipes, or how to build this, right? So we're
Yeah,
always
I'm
we're
not gonna lie,
always
I'm always on YouTube.
yeah, yeah. So with that, Evelyn, every day while we wake up, especially with what's going on in the world, but when Evelyn wakes up every morning, what inspires her every day?
Ooh, what inspires me? Um, Man, that one's hard. I I just want to live life to the fullest. Like that, every day is just a new day to get started and do something new. I just like I'm really glad that I have the opportunities and the ability to be able to do what I love every day, which is wake up, go to work, make something beautiful, get to the gym, grind it out, get home, and be with like the person I love. Like the inspiration is just being able to live life.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect. That's for it's something simple where sometimes we we take that for granted. So just in every day is like a it's like an obstacle, right? And it's something to achieve, to get done, get check off the list, right? So I think with everything, I feel like I mean, I've learned a lot just from talking to you, and I feel like we didn't even like just crack the nutshell of everything that you have in your story. And I feel like what you told me today, it's like a movie, man. Like I saw it as in a movie, right? We have our beginning, right, and then our fall, and then we get back up, and man, that's like that'll be an awesome movie, to tell one day. But maybe you probably you're already writing it as we speak, and it's not done. So
Yeah, hopefully it's not done. Hopefully there's still more to come. And like every day is a new day to grind and get closer to the top of the mountain.
no, yeah, perfect. And for everybody that's probably wants to follow your journey, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm only on Instagram as Eve Valdez, EVE VALDEZ. We kind of limit our social media around here just for mental health reasons.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can follow me on there. I have a couple of the gyms listed on my bio if you're interested in coming out. Starting, so July, compete in nationals for USA Weightlifting. And then after July, I start a kind of a strongman cycle. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you want to come start strongman with me, and end of July, early August, you can come to Liberty Performance and kind of learn how to be a strongman, because I'll be starting and you can start with me. If you're interested in weightlifting, they also have a barbell club at that same place. And we also have a barbell club through OPEX. So April 24th is Try Weightlifting Day. So if you want to try weightlifting, reach out to your local barbell club, and they're going to be more than happy to like bring you in and teach you everything they can. Because that's what I've learned is everyone's just always super welcoming, and they just want to make you achieve your goals.
Awesome. And we can't wait to, keep on following your journey, and, we'll bring you on for another one and just, talk nutrition and just, some of the, workouts that you're doing just to get ready for these competitions, and look forward to seeing you on the next one, Evelyn.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. And with that, we will catch you guys on the next one. All right, guys.
Bye.
Peace out. And don't forget to subscribe and check out the latest episodes on the website. Follow us on social media at Hardwood Rod. And don't forget, every Tuesday we got the latest and greatest. So stay locked in. Would you like to be on the podcast? Got something to talk about? Make sure to head over to the website at hardwoodrod.com. Leave your name and the topic you'd like to discuss, and I'll add you to the calendar.